I mean, honestly, Diphenhydramine and I, we have a long history going back to when I was very young. This started in my teenage years. You gotta remember, I was very young. I wasn't looking to get high when it very first started. Honestly, I was just looking to sleep. I wanted to go to sleep. I could never sleep. I had to do something. I thought, why not just take these non habit forming over the counter pills found at my dad's house? Tylenol PM. You buy it at Kroger's. Anywhere. How harmful could it be? I found out. And I'll tell you, it quickly evolved into something great. Something strong. It was consuming. Um, Quickly dominated every part of my life. I was willing to do anything to get my hands on some more diphenhydramine. Anything. Why? I was 15 years old, 16, around there. It was the first time my grandmother went into the nursing home. Actually, no, it was a little bit before my grandma first. No, I was right. My grandma had just went into the nursing home for the first time. I needed diphenhydramine. My mom, she kept that stuff put away. She knew not to let me have just access to it anytime I wanted to. And I don't blame her for keeping it away the way she did. One of the few things she did right. Um, but I needed my diphenhydramine fix. My mom had a key to Grandma's house. I knew which key it was on my mom's key ring. One day I took that key off my mom's key ring. Waited till my mom went to work. I walked to my grandmother's house. I let myself in with the key. I went to her medicine cabinet and I helped myself to her diphenhydramine. I took it all. The entire box, took it home with me. Felt no shame. I was proud of myself for figuring out a way to get my hands on some. That was my main emotion. I had achieved my goal. By any means necessary. It didn't matter. Anytime I had money, that's what I was doing. I loved birthday and Christmas time because it gave me money to buy the fucking pills that I wanted. and I would find ways to get it. I was very gifted at that. If I had applied the same dedication I put into getting diphenhydramine, and if I had applied that same dedication to something else back then, I would have had a much different future. I'll tell you that. Imagine the amount of time and dedication and just driven hard work I put into achieving that goal of getting my hands on diphenhydramine by any means necessary. And I would. Um, I started selling things at a young age. Things that I still wanted. I didn't want to sell. And but my desire to get more pills was more, it drove me more than my desire to keep what I really wanted to keep, my possessions. I mean, I had a lot of things I sold. Cameras, a nice MP3 player that I liked, countless movies, games, anything, CDs, anything I could get my hands on. I would, a lot of times, take a stack of DVDs down to the Cashland when they started their pawn shop thing. I would take stacks in there. At the time, they were giving $1 a disc, which means I only had to. It was $5 for a bottle of 100 pills. If I wanted one bottle, all I had to do was sell 5 DVDs. So I would wait till my mom would go to work, and then I would take a stack of DVDs. I would walk from my house all the way to Cashland to sell these DVDs. And then I would walk from Cashland to the dollar store to buy the diphenhydramine. And I did this on a regular basis. Just all the time. Every few days. Keep in mind, I didn't have a job through any of this. This whole time period, I started taking diphenhydramine at 15, and I didn't get my first job until I was 22. But there was a time period of about 2 years where I didn't have a job, but I somehow figured out how to get my hands on money often enough to where for 2 years, maybe 3, I didn't go a single night without diphenhydramine. Not a single night. And I didn't have a job. And yet I was able to scheme up ways to get my hands on money. I would sell whatever I could. My mom would buy my cigarettes back in the day. I would sell a pack of cigarettes cheap just so I could get more diphenhydramine. Or I would sell anything I could get my hands on. I was very proud of myself. And that's a really weird thing to say, but I really was. I was proud of myself for being able to achieve this. I just. I honestly wish that I had taken that dedication and put it into something that would have contributed to my life instead of all the hardship that I had to go through for years because of diphenhydramine. And hopefully now it's completely over. I feel like it is. I just cannot see myself going back to that now. It's been a year and almost 3 months, and I'm enjoying not having to take these, so I can't really see myself going back to it. But I would walk to this dollar store back in the day so often. They knew me in the dollar store. And sometimes they would comment on the amount of allergy pills, diphenhydramine, that I would buy at a time, and they'd be like, so do you just take these or do you sell these? Because sometimes I would go in there and buy multiple bottles at a time, depending on the amount of money I had. If I had $20, $30 extra somehow, I would fucking I would buy ridiculous amounts. When I got my college money from Papaw, the money that was supposed to go to college, thousands of dollars suddenly I had. You wouldn't believe the amount that I bought. It was insane. It was so much. So I had that time period where I had my college money, and that was awesome. And after that was gone is when I started to sell things. But they really got to know me at that dollar store to the point to where I wouldn't go in there with my mom anymore out of fear that I'd go in there with her and they might say something about the amount of diphenhydramine I would buy to her, or maybe just comment, hey, no diphenhydramine today, or you never know what somebody might say. So it got to the point to where I wouldn't go into the dollar store with my mom anymore, the one that I used to walk to, and she'd be like, so why don't you go in the store anymore? I'd be like, well, I just don't like that store anymore. I just decided it's just too cramped for me and it fucks with my brain. A lot of wasted time. A lot of wasted energy. I wish I could take so much of that back. If I could just go back, I mean. And it explains so much about why I was such a failure during, I mean, during a lot of things. It explains why I failed at certain things that I was really striving for and hoping for. And I look back and I'm like, well, if you take away the diphenhydramine at the time, perhaps, I mean, the outcome would have been quite different. And I highly suspect in a lot of different areas that if it hadn't been for the diphenhydramine, a lot of different things would have been a whole lot different. During my teen years, obviously, but also into my adult years and my married life, but I'm really just focusing right now on back in the day when this all started. And you know, about the time I really started to lose control of my diphenhydramine abuse is about the same time I stopped being able to come up with new songs back when I was a teenager. And I always wondered if there was some kind of connection between the two. About like maybe it killed that part of my brain that was at one time literally pumping out new songs on a regular basis. Every few days I had a new song. And then when I got hardcore into the diphenhydramine is really when that all just dried up and went away. It's very unfortunate.